United States Congressman Mike Johnson joins us for a little bit. Hey, Mr. Mike, welcome back to KEEL. How you doing today?
Hey, Robert, doing well. Good to hear from you.
Are you home? Are you on the road? Are you in the Capitol? What's the story? Where are you this morning?
I'm in North Bossier for one last morning, and then we head out early in the morning to get back to D.C. And
so you're here to share. You're here to share this beautiful weather back home with all your peeps, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, we had talked on election night. We were talking on election night about the possibility of the Democrats seizing control of the House of Representatives. And we both were kind of going, man, well, maybe we got an outside shot, meaning the GOP to hang on by 3 or 5 or 7 seats, and that came not to pass. What is the word among Republican congressmen as you guys are getting ready to go back to D.C.? What's the word among congressmen about how things are going to be different this go-around for the next 2 years?
Well, we're not discouraged at all. We've doubled down on our resolve. We got so much done in the 115th Congress that winds up in December, of course. The last 2 years have been a remarkable run. And so our challenge and our charge right now as the Republicans in Congress is to hold the line, defend all those advances that we've made that have gotten the economy humming and the military rebuilt and regulations in check, all the things that we've been able to do. We've got to hold the line and ensure that the new majority in the Congress doesn't try to erase all those great gains.
What's that strategy? Pardon me. What's that strategy? Holding the line. I'm sure you've been in meetings or at least talked with some of the leaders. What is that plan?
Well, it will have a lot to do with how we organize ourselves. So that's what next week is all about. We've got some big votes on the floor, but it's primarily about deciding the leadership team going forward into the next 2 years. I'm, as you know, in a race right now of leadership of my own. The Republican Study Committee is the largest caucus of conservatives in the House. I think we'll have a little over 140 members that remain in that going forward for the next 2 years. I'm in a race for chairman of that, and that will be a big key to this because what we've got to do, the basic strategy in a word, is unity. We've got to unify our guys on our side, our men and women, to stand together because if we divide, then that's a recipe for disaster. So we've got to make sure our team is together, that we run the playbook that's well-designed, and that we hold the line, and I think we'll take the majority back in 2 years.
You know, I've got that in front of me, and I was going to get to it just a bit later, but you brought it up. The Republican Study Committee, and you are running for that chairmanship. What exactly does the RSC Study Committee do, and why is it kind of a big deal?
Well, it was created in 1973 to be what they described back then as the intellectual arsenal of conservatives in the Congress, in the House. And it's fulfilled a very important role since those days because it has in so many ways been the repository for all the good ideas, for where the policy generates. Obviously, if you get 140 or 150 members of Congress working together on an initiative, you can get it passed, you can get it through. So the RSC is basically the conscience of conservatives, the vanguard. It's where the ideas generate, and it is where a lot of the strategy is created, the unity is fostered, and all that. So it's a critical role. Mike Pence used to be the chairman. Steve Scalise was the chairman before he became the majority whip. It's a bit presumptuous for a second-term congressman to run for chairman, but I was recruited by my colleagues to do it, and it looks like we may have the votes to be elected. So it's a big deal for our district. You know, the 15 parishes of Louisiana's 4th congressional district, our influence will take a turbo boost in advancement, and it will help the whole state. So we're working hard to get that done. I think we can, and I think it'll be a pivotal role because since '73, since RSC was founded, Robert, I've made the point to my colleagues, I think the next 2 years is its most important moment. It has never been more important for us to speak with clarity and conviction and consistency about what it means to be a conservative, why this ideology is best for the country, and how we can advance the ball.
You know, I was looking a bunch of articles over the weekend, and it seems like that it seems like if you made a list of the Democrats on the House side who have been the most vociferous, the most vitriolic, hateful about the president of the United States, Donald Trump, it seems like those are all going to be the ones, Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, Jerry Nadler, etc. It seems like they're going to be the ones in charge. Are we going to see 2 years of subpoenas and lawsuits and trouble? Is it going to be a mess?
I'm afraid that it could be, but I'm hopefully optimistic that it will not be. Jerry Nadler will be the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee where I spend most of my time, and that's a pivotal committee because that's the one where all these investigations would start if they do that. I hope that they can stand strong against the more rabid fringe, the radical left in that base who's demanding the president's scalp and they want impeachment and all this other thing. That will mire the country into chaos for 2 years, bog everything down. It'll be absolute gridlock, and it'll be a bitter and nasty partisan divide. The country doesn't need that right now. They need Republicans and Democrats to get together and work together towards consensus to continue to move the ball forward so that the unemployment level stays at record lows, so that wages continue to rise, so that the stock market hangs on, so that the economy can continue to hum along. If they get us mired in all that other mess, as you say, it's going to be a detriment to every single hardworking American, and we can't afford that right now. We've got to keep the ball moving forward.
I'm not trying to be overly philosophical here, but it's something I've said on the radio for about a year now, and it's John Milton from Paradise Lost. And I apply to Democrats. They would rather rule in hell than serve in heaven. Isn't it part of their plan to make a mess of things?
Well, there's some clearly that have that as a personal agenda. I mean, by their own account, by what they say themselves. They're not trying to hide it. There are some others, though, that are reasonable folks who want to do well by their constituents in their home districts, and they recognize that if we get mired in all of this nastiness, that it's just not going to serve the country and serve the people that they were elected to represent. So I hope that my goal is, Robert, personally, is to continue to work on this civility idea that we've fostered. We've got 150 members of Congress, leaders and luminaries on both sides of the aisle, who have agreed and signed on to that. I'm going to go to every new member individually and try to talk them into signing on to this idea that we can still sit around a table, arm wrestle together, but disagree in an agreeable manner so we can find consensus and move the ball forward, because that's what the country needs right now.
On an upbeat note, I saw on social media last night, Veterans Day today, and you had a videotaped message for veterans and sort of not a plea, but a way. Give us your thoughts on Veterans Day, especially how Americans can appreciate the sacrifices that our veterans have made.
Well, freedom's not free, and it sounds like a cliche, but the point I've been making yesterday and today is, do not take for granted that the next generation knows or understands all that. They don't, and I just think this is a great time, Veterans Day, to take a moment to remind a young person what that phrase actually means, what these sacrifices have meant, why America is exceptional and important, and why a strong U.S. military is the key and the secret to that. In so many places and so many times around the world, and around the world right now as we speak, the only thing standing between tyranny and liberty is the United States military. It is a strong America. And a strong America is good not only for us here, for our security and prosperity, but it's good for the entire world, because we are the vanguard of freedom. We hold the line. And so it is our men and women in uniform who do that. And that's what we recognize and honor and give thanks for on this day. It's just a critical time to do that. Congressman
Mike Johnson, travel safe, my friend. Thanks for taking time for me this morning. Always my pleasure entirely.
You too, buddy. Talk to you soon.
19 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update from Reuben.
The intersection of Burt Coons Industrial Loop